Thank you. Let me ask one practical question and then another one. The practical question is that, at least from what I've seen in press reporting, there seem to be very wide variations in enforcement, including in areas like schools, churches, courthouses, so forth. I do not get the impression from what I'm reading about enforcement in various areas that the policies of the administration have much sway out in the field. I know that President Trump campaigned very strongly with the organizations that represent field agents, so they may feel empowered to go off on their own on rogue missions that are inconsistent with the kind of command discipline that we expect of law enforcement agencies. So if you could give me your brief assessment of to what extent command discipline actually exists in this area and policies are actually being followed down to the field level, I would appreciate your assessment of that. If you want to do it in shorthand on a percentage basis, feel free to do that. Start with you, Mr. Riedler.
I would defer to the department who handles the enforcement priorities for the administration.
Okay. Not much help. Go ahead.
Senator, I'm unaware of any rogue activity on the part of Immigration and Customs Enforcement, which does the interior enforcement for the United States.
So you think you have 100% compliance with the policy guidance that you are putting out?
I'm unaware of any rogue activity on the part of ICE. ICE is beholden with following the administration's directives as well as those of the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security and prioritizing those things that are established in the documents that we produce, including the document that came out from then Secretary Kelly in the springtime.
Mr. McCammon?
Thank you, Senator. I likewise am unaware with respect to ICE.
One of the things that we are seeing is that the follow-on effects of this decision are very frightening to people. They're very frightening to children in particular, who, as a general proposition, we don't expect to be expert analysts of the Constitution or the contours of government policy. They just get a signal. And what we are seeing is reports, particularly from schools and school teachers, about children who are actively upset in class, having to deal with tears and fear, that it casts a pall on classroom performance among a lot of these kids. And, you know, it's not really a teacher's capacity to say, well, here are the fine points of the new immigration policy and how it is or isn't going to affect you and your family. Programs like lunch programs or signing up for health tests or visits with the nurse, anything that involves that child signaling themselves, have gone down. Participation among groups that deal with, say, illness prevention has gone down in this community. There is a pervading sense of fear reported to me from my communities in Rhode Island about what has happened. And I would hope that as you make the decisions that you make, you take to some degree into account those human consequences that are playing out in the lives of these people. This may seem like political fun and games in this room, but back in Rhode Island, there are classrooms with kids who are really frightened. And a frightened kid is not something that anybody should take any satisfaction in my view. I guess my time is out.